Good day, folks. The Pro Audio Journalist here. Audioscape are one of the most exciting companies in Pro Audio. I've personally started calling Chris Yetta Golden Ears due to his sonic refinement of the units that I've heard. I tend to wonder why Audioscape are not flooding us with products, but I guess R&D, component sourcing, and hiring employees to build these units is a long process. I really like Audioscape's business model. Selling direct to consumers cuts out the retailer and distribution markups, resulting in a quality product at a great price. I personally believe that direct to consumer is the future. I asked Audioscapes a few questions, so let's get into it. Could you please tell us the inspiration for your new Audioscape preamp and how is the unit selling? Audioscape replied, I believe you are asking about the MAP DAM27. The inspiration for this one actually comes from the Melcore AM27 preamp, which uses the 1731 op amp. We loved the AM27 so much, we decided it was time to make a rack version of the unit, giving the name DAM27. If you are not familiar with Melcore, they are considered to be a precursor to API. MAP was actually formed and derived from the Melcore guys back in the 70s. When Chris saw that the trademark was available, he decided it was time to bring the MAP name and sound to the Audioscape family. Question 2. What is your best-selling product? Our Optocomp and EQPA are tied as the top-selling products for the last few years running. This surprised me a bit because you don't hear of the LA2A being used too much these days. When somebody gives a session rundown of a hit song that they've recently mixed, the LA2A doesn't seem to be in there, but some of my favourite records, the LA2A was on vocals. All of Guns N' Roses' vocals were in LA2A, and the LA2A was on bass too. I know Mixed by Ali is using the LA2A on vocals. I'm a little bit worried that the LA2A has lost some of its glory, but obviously it hasn't if it's the best-selling product. Yeah, I believe I'll be a customer in future. I definitely want one of the Audioscape revisions. Question 3. Have you considered doing a China-made line of products similar to Warm Audio? Audioscape replied, we have not. We were founded on the principle of making great gear at a great price that everyone can afford. What we feel makes the gear so great is that it is all handmade by techs who imbue the love and passion to share within the products they build. We actually do most of our production in the same format that they did back in the 50s. The closest we come to automation is a drill press, and outside of the computers and interfaces we use to calibrate and test the devices, everything on our workbenches are the same things the techs of 30 years ago would use. Question 4. Who is a high-profile client that made you pinch yourselves? Audioscape replied, we have someone new almost every week. We do not like to name drop as many of our customers order anonymously and we respect their right to privacy. But if you want to know some of the people we work with, please click our sponsored artist page. We'll check out that shortly. Question 5. Could you please give me a quote for what fans should expect to see in the future? Audioscape replied, we are always in active development and plan on releasing a bunch of new products over the next year. Very exciting. I can't wait to see that. Question 6. Can you give any hints as to what is coming? Audioscape replied, we have so many products and we do not want to spoil the surprises coming, but sign up for our newsletters and be some of the first to get the announcements. It is very exciting. I wonder if there's any merit in letting customers know what is possibly coming beforehand. Give customers a chance to save their pennies and get ready for the release, and maybe they'd hold off buying units from other companies if they know they're going to be getting something new from Audioscape in the future. I often thought it might be a good idea for companies like Audioscape and Stam to create digital wallets and customers can create a profile of a digital wallet on their website and add money to it every week. So a way of saving for a unit. So Audioscape have this money in their possession, but obviously it's in your digital wallet, and once you hit a certain point, you can buy a unit, or you could just keep saving for other units. It's just a way of saving, and once you hand over the money, you're not going to spend it. I'm not great with money, so if I could put it aside in a digital wallet, I believe I would end up with more units in the future. Okay, question 7. Is the 500 series market too small for future products? Now, I asked this question because I spoke to another well-known company, another builder, and they believe that the 500 market is too small for them to even bother. And that surprised me. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Once you get used to having so much processing power in such a small footprint in front of you in the studio, it's really hard to go back. I got into 500 series personally, and then I sold everything. Stupidly, I sold everything thinking I'm just going to go back to rack units, but I missed it so much that I got back into it again, and I don't see me ever selling it in future. Okay, sorry, question 7. Is the 500 series market too small for future products? Audioscape replied, no, it's not. We actually released a 500 series unit this January, the MAP CL20, and have plans for more 500 series units in the future. This excites me, and I'm sure they're keeping an eye on Stam Audio. I'm sure they all keep an eye on each other. Yeah, Stam is really focused on some 500 units coming out that look remarkable to me. So yeah, I'd really like to see what Audioscape are coming up with in the future, and the poor 500 series market, maybe it is dwindling, or maybe it's not that big. Maybe it's not a huge profit pool for these companies. It's a bit of a service to the industry, really, if you're releasing 500 series units. You're looking after your family a bit, maybe. Okay, folks, I have sent out questions to a few other companies, and I've got some replies, so maybe these videos will be a thing in the future, and if you can think of any questions that you'd like to ask a company, maybe comment below, maybe they'll answer, or maybe I'll include it in an email where I get to ask some questions. The second half of this video, I'll just be looking at the Audioscape website, so hang around and we'll check out the artist page that they suggested to look at, just to see who's using Audioscape gear and who's endorsing the products.